What are the negative effects of that on a church and on a society when men don't step up to be men in the way they were created to be?
Well, the enemy found out from the very beginning of time that if you want to kill a movement, kill the men. Okay? So you see it demonstrated very visibly in the Old Testament and in the New Testament. So the Egyptians, when they had the Israelis held captive for 400 years, Pharaoh made a decree, which is where we get Moses in the basket in the bulrushes.
Yep.
He said, they're getting too many. And right now, we can control them. But if they continue to populate and there gets enough men, one day they're going to turn around and go, there's as many of us as there are them, and we don't have to put up with this anymore. And he literally made a decree that when a Israelite woman was on the birthing stool, if it's a female, let it live. But if it's a boy, kill it. So
Yeah.
if we want to stop this thing,
Yeah.
if we want to stop the threat, if we want to kill the threat, kill the men. All right, Old Testament picture. And then New Testament picture. When Jesus Christ was going to come into this earth and cut the head off of sin and the devil and free humanity and provide the opportunity for salvation and freedom from sin to happen, Herod issued a decree, right? We know that the king issued a decree. Every male 2 years of age and under is to be killed. Okay, so they had to go into hiding and obscurity. So he knew that if you want to stop this movement, kill the men. It's still going on.
You mentioned as well, I thought was really interesting about in Daniel when he took away their identity by giving them names with feminine connotations and that kind of stuff, female names. It's interesting to look at all these, parallels.
It's been around forever.
Yeah.
And so the Church of Jesus Christ, for example, they've done multiple studies of this, but fundamental Christianity is the only major religion in the world where women outnumber men 6-1.
Wow.
Okay, so here's what I'm trying to say. He's not after Buddhism. He's not after Hinduism. He's not after Islam. He's not after any... Why?
Yeah.
He's only after fundamental Christianity. It's because he knows it's real, and it's the only thing that's going to change the world and save the earth. And so he's after it. And so I believe the way we got here was there was a overtly feminization of the gospel. I think that maybe inadvertently, or maybe it was by the subtle design of the enemy. When we began to preach the gospel that Jesus is the bride and the church is the bridegroom and all of that, or the bride and the bridegroom, we began to show this picture of Jesus that was this dude with long hair, soft guy walking around talking about lilies, holding lambs, and he just looked like this ultimate nice guy. Mm-hmm. And men who were already struggling with their masculinity, when they thought, in order to be a Christian, I'm going to have to turn in my man card.
Yeah.
Well, it just it turned them off.
Yeah,
and they started to clearly walk away from the church. Number one, that is a very distorted picture of Jesus, and I preach a whole sermon on this, where I show the other side of who Jesus really was, the masculine side, and it's amazing. But when men understand that living for yourself is the easiest thing in the world to do, and the most courageous and gutsiest thing a man will ever do, is bow his knee to King Jesus and submit and surrender himself to the Lordship of Christ, and then do it daily. It's the greatest challenge of your life. And if you really want to see what you got and what you don't, do that. All right. So you find out early, and that's why we've shifted the culture here in Canvas. I am proud that statistic does not exist in Canvas. We really have more men than women in our church. It's amazing. And I believe that it's because we've given men permission to be men, strong men, and still honor and love and serve the Lord, and that you're never more a man than when you surrender and submit to King Jesus. So the fallout of it is you have very weak churches, weak society, weak families that are looking for leadership that are clearly void of the things that they need necessarily to be that vine on the wall, those olive plants around the table, and women and children are suffering because of it. And so I just believe clearly, I'm so passionate about it, that I say it again, I said it earlier, societies, communities, churches, families are all better off with strong, godly men in those spaces.